Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. It's great to have you with us this morning. It's great to have you virtually with us this morning. It's great to have all you on the pavilion with us this morning. Thank you for waving. You're listening to us really out there. I'm very excited to be with you this morning. It's going to be a fun service. You need to be on your toes as we present a service of lessons and carols, jazz and justice style. This morning, we will be offering you some words of wisdom from justice makers past and present, interspersed with some familiar carols, but not too familiar, so don't get too excited, because if you need to pay attention to the words, which will be only on the screen, because sometimes they might change a little bit. You never know. And we've tried to find some appropriate words, but some familiar words, and so I hope you'll enjoy that. The lessons that we have for you, as I said, are wonderful teachings from justice makers past and present, which I hope will inspire us to consider this season, as I think we should, as an invitation to a new birth and a new idea and a new way of participating in the world. As always, I'd like to thank our tech, Daniel Goodsit and John Forsyth, for being here and making all this actually happen technically. Abby and Sean are once again sort of welcomed and joined by Dave Dust on the guitar. We're grateful for David to be here. We have a couple of extra readers this morning, Lena Neal and Catherine Costello. I'd especially like to thank our hospitality crew. There's Michael standing out there, one of them, and they're all sitting down at the table over there, so that's great, for bringing us our coffee for afterwards and some cookies. So we extend our gratitude to them for making our post-service experience a little bit more pleasant. Welcome to you here in the sanctuary. I'm very excited that you're here. Last but not least, our worship associate for this morning, Joanne Husky.
Thank you, Tony. Let me add my welcome to Tony's, to all of you here today in the sanctuary, and all of you out there on the patio, and to all of you at home or on the road who may be watching this live today on Facebook or later in the week on YouTube. Please know that all of you, every one of you, are welcome here. Ours is a welcoming community, freely seeking spiritual and intellectual growth. We strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love. And we try to live those values out in the public. If you're new, if you found us online, and you'd like to know much more about this congregation, or if you'd like to get onto our email list, please contact our administrator at office@uunaples.org to find out about all the amazing opportunities for spiritual and intellectual growth. As the song goes, this is the most wonderful time of the year. It's a time to show our love and our kindness to one another. Today, you're going to be hearing a jazz and justice version of the seasonal lessons and carols service. And we hope that you will enjoy both the readings and the carols, a chance to sing carols in a new way, with a little bit of a bounce. So, please, if you haven't already, silence your cell phones, even at home, and take a deep breath. And let's all settle into worship with this morning's prelude.
Come, let this holiday season be a time for engaging heart to heart. For the times we saw a star in the east and failed to follow it. For the times we followed a star, but it did not lead where we hoped. For miracles gone unnoticed. For wise women and wise men whose gifts we rejected. For ourselves, who from fear held back our own gifts. Come, let this holiday season be a time for engaging heart to heart. For all those we remember. For all those we need to forgive. For all those we love. Come, let this holiday season be a joyful one. A time for engaging heart to heart. Please join me in the chalice lighting you see on your screen. We come together once again, knowing we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. As there are so many carols this morning, we're going to ask you to stay seated, but you still need to stay on your toes because these carols have a little bit of movement to them that you may not be ready for. Let's join together in singing our opening carol, O Come All Ye Faithful.
O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. O come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ Lord. Sing choirs of angels, sing in exultation, sing all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, all glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Now is the time to call on the memories of the ancestors who thought they could not walk another step toward freedom, and yet they did. It is that time and place to call on the memories of the ancestors who, when the darkness of their lives threatened to take away the hope and light, reached a little deeper and prayed yet another prayer. It is that time and place to remember those who came through the long night to witness another sunrise. It is that time and place to remember the oceans of tears shed to deliver us to this time, to remember the bent knees and bowed backs, to remember the fervent voices asking, begging, and beseeching for loved ones sold off. Time to remember their laughter and joy, though they had far less and little reason for optimism, yet they stayed on the path toward a better day. Time to hold to the steadfast hands and hearts and prayers of ancestors that have brought us this far. Time to make them proud and show them and ourselves what we are made of. Time to show them that their prayers and sacrifices and lives were not in vain and did not go unnoticed, nor have they been forgotten. Did you not know that this day would come? Did you not know that we would have to change places? Did you not know that just as our ancestors were delivered, that you would also be delivered? Have you not seen the greatness and power of the creative energy in the universe that moves and has its being through human agency? Have you not seen it in your neighbors' faces, in the homeless, in the shattered woman, the trafficked child, the undocumented worker, the dispossessed? It is that time and that place to know that it is our turn, that we must leave a legacy for our children and all children. It is that time and that place. We are the ones we've been waiting for. For that, let us sing out and be eternally grateful. And now, let's go tell it on the mountain.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching for silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Christ is born.
Okay, here's the English teacher again. I think when Tony divvied up the readings, he deliberately gave me this one because I keep talking to you about, the structure of a poem before you hear it. This is in couplets, but it's not rhymed couplets. So 2 lines meant to be delivered together. And actually, this poem, The Sacrament of Christmas, is 6 affirmations. So you're going to hear the repetition, and the repetition is, I make an act of. And if you want to do a little audience participation, you can try to keep track of the 6 affirmations on your hand with me. I make an act of faith toward humankind, where doubts would linger and suspicions abound. I make an act of joy toward all sad hearts, where laughter pales and fears abound. I make an act of strength toward feeble things, where life grows dim and death draws near. I make an act of trust toward all of life, where fears preside and distrusts keep watch. I make an act of love toward friend and foe, where trust is weak and hate burns bright. Back to the beginning. I make an act of faith toward humankind and look out on life with quiet eyes. A little town of Bethlehem. You all know by now that I'm from Maryland because I'm obnoxious about talking about Maryland. Well, to me, Bethlehem is a little town up in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Lehigh University is. But I think there is another Bethlehem. A little town of Bethlehem.
How silently the wonder is made known when God imparts to human hearts the gift that is our own. No ear may hear that coming, but in this worldly din, when souls are truly humble, the dear name rests within.
The hopes and fears of all the years rest in thee tonight. We carry with us so much in this time, remembrances of holidays past, whatever faith background we share. Family, friends, some of us perhaps hold some anxieties about this time of year for our own histories. But in this moment of the year, we tend to settle and start remembering and reminiscing. A sense perhaps of melancholy, a sense of joy. Each of us is different. But all of us carry our own current hopes and fears, our own joys and sorrows. If you have a name of somebody or even yourself that you're holding today, this morning, then I invite you to call that name out aloud, even those of you who are with us virtually, those of you on the pavilion. Share a name. Vibrate your chest. Get that name out. And we'll listen as I cast my arm across the sanctuary to those names and hold them. Joys and sorrows. I hope you joined us on the pavilion as well. For those of us here in Southwest Florida, I know some of us are here and our families up north. Hopefully we have a chance to connect, but recognize it. For some of us, there is distance between ourselves and others, so we acknowledge that. I share a joy this morning for our youth who have joined us for the service. They're mostly, I think, out on the pavilion, but we're grateful to have them here. They're around the corner, so I can't see them, but they're there. Just happy to have you with us this morning. I hope you're singing along. We think, too, about all those folks who are struggling once again with a virus that continues to plague us. For those who are struggling as frontline workers, helping, caring, hoping, recognizing that they've had little breath since the Delta variant, and here it comes again. So our hearts reach out to all those who give and who care. We seek peace at this time of year, a sense of calm, the ability to take that deep breath. And the Archbishop Oscar Romero, who was canonized not too long ago by the Catholic Church, provides us with these few short words about peace. Peace is not the product of terror or fear. Peace is not the silence of cemeteries. Peace is not the silent result of violent repression. Peace is the generous, tranquil contribution of all to the good of all. Peace is dynamism. Peace is generosity. It is right. And it is duty. Let's share some moments of silence.
This is an excerpt from God is in the Manger by Reverend Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Jesus stands at the door knocking. In total reality, he comes in the form of a beggar, of the dissolute human child in ragged clothes, asking for help. He confronts you in every person that you meet. As long as there are people, he will walk the earth as your neighbor, as the one through whom God calls you, speaks to you, makes demands on you. This is the great seriousness and the great blessedness of the Advent message. Jesus is standing at the door. He lives in the form of a human being among us. And now rise as you are able to join in singing What Child Is This?
What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him praise, the babe, the Son of Mary. Child in manger bare, where ox and ass are feeding. Give heed, draw near, for sinners hear the silent word is pleading. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him praise, the babe, the Son of Mary.
In 1967, less than 5 months before his assassination, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave a Christmas sermon in which he shared both his hopes and fears. The Christmas season finds us a rather bewildered human race, he said. We have neither peace nor within nor peace without. Everywhere, paralyzing fears harrow people by day and haunt them by night. Dr. King was not one to hold on too long to negativity, but always found a way to turn his listeners toward hope. Not an easy, optimistic kind of hope, but one that requires more from each of us. If we are to have peace on earth, he said, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. Returning to a familiar theme, Dr. King ended his sermon with these words, I still have a dream that with this faith we will be able to adjourn the council of despair and bring new light into the dark corners of pessimism. I have a dream that with this faith we will be able to speed up the day when there will be peace on earth and goodwill toward men. 54 years later, we are still dreaming, and our hope lies in a new generation of leaders who know how to both walk the walk and talk the talk. Alicia Garza, one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter and current force behind the Black Futures Lab, an organization that works to transform our communities, building black political power, and changing the way that power operates, locally, statewide, and nationally, speaks with some of that power. These are her words.
America and the promise of America has yet to be realized. There are people who don't believe that the earth is warming, and that has impacts and implications on whether or not people live. People who don't believe that women should be allowed to decide if and when they want to have families. Folks who don't believe that people who make this country run every single day deserve to live in dignity and don't deserve to have protections in the workplace. We're in a moment where we're at a real crossroads. I still am incredibly hopeful for what's possible, but I also know what's required. There is hope for humanity, but in order for us to get there, we really have to ask not just what it takes to change laws, but what it takes to change a culture that can support laws that uplift humanity while also supporting laws that serve to denigrate it. The first step in making this country great again is getting to know your neighbor, getting to know how they got there, why they stay, what they fear, what they dream of, and being in a commitment to helping them reach their goals, spreading that person to person, family by family, block by block. Anger is not a sustainable emotion in and of itself. It has to be transformed into a deep love for the possibility of who we can be. That's why love is important. Love connects us to what we most care about, what we yearn for. My greatest fear for this country is that we won't learn the lessons we need to before it's too late. And my greatest hope for this country is that this is the moment where we pivot and we say, not anymore and never again. Black Lives Matter is really rehumanization project. It is a way for us to love each other again, to love ourselves, and to project that love into the world so that we can transform it.
Let's join together in singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Hark the herald angels sing. reconciled. Joyful all the earth arise, join the anthems of the skies, with angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, songs of hope to us they bring. Hail the heavenly reign of peace, hail the Son of righteousness, light and life to all now bring, risen with healing in thy wings. Now we find the kingdom come, death and war and hate are done. Love has come to all the earth, love has brought a second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, songs of joy to us they bring.
Time to consider the words of Lena and Tony's message this morning. Let's also take some time to show our gratitude for this place, for all the ways in which it enriches our lives and has taken care of us during this long, dark COVID period. This morning's offering will be gratefully received. Please consider mailing in your contribution today if you're at home, and the information you need is on the screen.
I got chills when I saw for the first time that the last reading today is by Maya Angelou. And I think I speak for Joanne and me when I say that it's an honor to be able to put my voice to her words. I wouldn't even begin to try to explain the magic of this poem because it's Maya Angelou. She wrote this in 2005 for a Christmas tree lighting at the White House. She's been gone for a while. She died at the age of 86 in 2014. I don't know if you're like me, but when I watch videos of Maya Angelou, I feel like I just want her to clasp me to her bosom and tell me everything's going to be okay. She was Mother Earth, you know. I like to believe that she's been somehow reincarnated into Amanda Gorman.
Yeah.
I hope. But Maya, we need you back. This poem is called Amazing Peace. Not Amazing Grace, but Amazing Peace. And Joanne and I are going to share it. It's too much for one person, I think. And when it comes back to me, she uses something very unusual. She talks about the loudness of peace. And it really startles me when I hear that because I never thought of peace as being something loud. So, in an interview when she was asked to comment on this poem, she said, "Peace is not just the absence of war. The peace that she looks for is personal peace within all of us, and that's the only way that true peace will come." So, Maya Angelou was 6 feet tall. I'm 5 feet tall. So I'll do the best that I can. Thunder rumbles in the mountain passes, and lightning rattles the eaves of our houses. Floodwaters await us in our avenues. Snow falls upon snow to avalanche over unprotected villages. The sky slips low and gray and threatening. We question ourselves. What have we done to so affront nature? We worry God. Are you there? Are you really there? Does the covenant you made with us still hold? Into this climate of fear and apprehension, Christmas enters. Streaming lights of joy, ringing bells of hope, and singing carols of forgiveness high up in the bright air. The world is encouraged to come away from rancor, come the way of friendship. It is the glad season.
Thunder ebbs to silence, and lightning sleeps quietly in the corner. Floodwaters recede into memory. Snow becomes a yielding cushion to aid us as we make our way to higher ground. Hope is born again in the faces of children. It rides on the shoulders of the aged as they walk into their sunsets. Hope spreads around the earth, brightens all things, even hate, which crouches in dark corners. In our joy, we think we hear a whisper. At first, it is too soft, and then only half heard. We listen carefully as it gathers strength. We hear a sweetness. The word is peace.
It is loud now. It is louder than the explosion of bombs. We tremble at the sound. We are thrilled by its presence. It is what we have hungered for, not just the absence of war, but true peace, a harmony of spirit, a comfort of courtesies, security for our beloveds and their beloveds. We clap hands and welcome the peace of Christmas. We beckon this good season to wait a while with us. We, Baptist and Buddhist, Methodist and Muslim, say, "Come, peace. Come and fill us and our world with your majesty." We, the Jew and the Janet, the Catholic and the Confucian, implore you, to stay a while with us, so we may learn by your shimmering light how to look beyond complexion and see community.
It's Christmas time, a halting of hate time. On this platform of peace, we can create a language to translate ourselves to ourselves and to each other. At this holy instant, we celebrate the birth of Jesus. Into the great religions of the world, we jubilate the precious advent of trust. We shout with glorious tongues at the coming of hope. All the earth's tribes loosen their voices to celebrate the promise of peace. We, angels and mortals, believers and non-believers, we look heavenward and we speak the word aloud. Peace. We look at our world and we speak the word aloud. Peace. We look at each other, into ourselves, and we say without shyness or apology or hesitation,
Peace, my brother.
peace, my sister,
Peace, my soul.
peace, my soul. And now we sing the carol, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to will. From heaven the news we bring. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hasting on, by prophet bards foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall o'er all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world give back the song which now the angels sing.
few brief announcements before we finish up. Please be seated. Remind you that tomorrow night there's a forum about the pollsters' understanding of America's view of Biden's first year in office. That's 7 o'clock tomorrow night online. The information is in the Sunday News this morning. And this coming Friday night, I hope you'll join us here in the sanctuary for I guess, more traditional lessons and carols. Abby and Sean will be joined by a soprano, Nadia Marshalls, who's been with us in the past. And we're looking forward to that. And the choir will be singing on Christmas Eve as well. So you have to be here. So starting in January, in line with our service today, the Team Against Racism and Oppression, our own Team Against Racism and Oppression, will be offering a workshop, a 4-week virtual workshop on reimagining policing in our nation. The history of policing in our country, the current state of policing, religious perspectives, and how we might imagine a better future. I hope you'll look at the poster out in the sanctuary and think about joining us. It will be a very important workshop. And now for the words of Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the magi are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, and bring peace among all people, to make music in the heart. Go in peace, go in love, and enjoy joy to the world once more.